Agency, Public Finance Authority, Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Perris Joint Powers Authority, and the Perris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Perris this Tuesday, September 24th at 6:30 p.m. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Rabb.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Magana.
Here.
Councilmember Corona.
Here.
Mayor Vargas.
Here, thank you. Item 3 is our invocation, which will be delivered by Pastor Bobby Barra from the Calvary Chapel, Perris Valley. We can stand for that and then remain standing for item 4, which will be our Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman David Starr Rabb.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff. Father, thank you for the opportunity you've given me to pray over this meeting this evening. I know, Lord, that your hand is upon this group of leaders and people that are responsible as public servants over this city. So, Lord, I pray for your wisdom to be upon them. You've given them this authority because you have all authority. And so, Lord, may you give them the wisdom and the insight to make the decisions that they have before them today. And that, Lord, you would be upon them, upon their families, upon their health as well, and bless them abundantly, Lord. So have your hand upon this meeting, Lord, and may you be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me as we salute our nation's great flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Item 5 is our report on closed session. Mr. Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session to discuss the one item of existing litigation, and no reportable action was taken tonight.
Thank you. Item 6 is our presentation and announcements. 6A is introduction of our new city employees. And this will be introduced by our city manager, Mr. Benitez.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, good evening. We have 7 new employees to introduce to you tonight. So starting off tonight will be our planning manager, Kenneth Fung, to introduce you to his staff. Mr. Fung.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm here to proudly announce Ryan Griffith promotion to Assistant Planner. Ryan is a graduate of UC Riverside with a bachelor's degree in business administration in 2017. He started work with the city as a temporary employee in October 2017. He made a good impression with us with his work ethic, attention to detail, and just a positive attitude. Shortly thereafter, he applied and was hired in February of 2018 as a community development specialist covering the counter for the planning department. With that, he continued his professional growth by obtaining what we call CEQA certification through UC San Diego, which he got just back in last month. On a personal note, Ryan enjoys the outdoor. He enjoys mountain biking, hiking, and camping. For that reason, he lives in Idlewild, which is approximately an hour away from the city of Perris. While being there, he can enjoy being idle, like in Idlewild, and wild. So, so that's just something personal about Ryan. Ryan does have a really good, helpful attitude, which resonates with the development community and the residents, as they made a lot of positive comments to our department. At this time, I would like to introduce Ryan to briefly introduce himself.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Firstly, I'd like to thank staff for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. I've enjoyed my time here at the City of Perris and learning more every day. And I look forward to working with developers, the residents, to bring new development to the City of Perris. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. I should say wild man.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council and City staff. It is with great pleasure to introduce, I have the pleasure to introduce our 2 newest code enforcement officers. I will begin with Jeffrey Robinson. Jeffrey comes to us from the county of Orange, where he spent a few years as an information process technician. After the county of Orange, he went to the county of San Bernardino when he performed the duties of claims specialist. And last year, Mr. Robinson was hired as a code enforcement officer for the city for our city as a temp. And through his hard work and dedication and attention to detail, when our full-time positions came up, he went through the process, he fought hard, and he proved himself, and therefore he was chosen to be one of our newest code enforcement officers. On a personal note, just a little bit about his personal life, rather. His hobbies, he enjoys spending time, family time, rather. He's a big basketball fan. He's a Laker fan.
Yay.
I won't hold that against him. I'm a Clipper fan, but I'm sure it'll come up in our conversations. And football, he's a Dallas Cowboys. Yes, so as you can tell, Mr.
You were doing
Robinson,
good till you got to the
you're doing
football.
very good.
Nancy and I like that, right,
He's,
Nancy?
he's also an automobile enthusiast. So if you have any questions regarding the latest models or classic vehicles, he is definitely the person to go to. His education, he has his high school diploma. He has a certification in Penal Code 832, and he's also a certified CASIO code enforcement officer. So I present to you our newest code enforcement officer, Mr. Jeffrey Robinson.
Hello, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. I'm Jeffrey Robinson. I was a temporary code enforcement officer since November 2018 up until my recent permanent status with the city. I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to work in a growing, diverse, forward-thinking city. I am thankful for the opportunity to see the city grow to reach its full potential socially, economically, and physically. I hope to make an impact in the city to help the city as well as help my personal and professional growth. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I continue my presentation, our second newly hired code enforcement officer. It's with great pleasure that I present to you Stephanie Carrillo. Stephanie comes to us from the city of Hawthorne as a parking enforcement officer through the Hawthorne Police Department. And after that, she went to the city of Lawndale and started her career as a code enforcement officer, where she spent for the last year and a half. And again, Stephanie was hired here with us through a temporary position in 2017, or rather 2018. And again, through her hard work and dedication, she proved that she belongs here serving our citizens in our city. And when the position went up again, she competed hard and was successfully chosen as our code enforcement officer. Her education consists of a high school diploma from Gardena High, and she is certified as a code enforcement officer through CASIO. And she also possesses her PCA Penal Code 832 certificate. Her hobbies are hiking. She likes to ride quads, motorcycles, and spending time with her family and kids. Her goals is advancing in her career with the ultimate goal of one day reaching a management position. So again, I present to you our newest code enforcement officer, Ms. Stephanie Carrillo.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I just want to thank you for your time in this meeting to present me. My name is Stephanie Carrillo. I've been working as a code enforcement officer for a little bit over a year. I reside in the city of Long Beach. Although I have a great commute ahead of me every day, it is definitely worth it. I love the city and I'm very eager and excited to make a great impact in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our Community Services Manager, Arsenio Ramirez, who will present the next two employees.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, city staff, and community members. I'm happy to be up here today to present to you two individuals who have promoted within our department. First up is Crystal Smith. Crystal Smith has been with us for about 3 years now. She promoted to full-time. She has a 7-year-old daughter named Tamia who's here supporting her mom. She's been a city resident for over 13 years, graduated from Perris High School. She's a hardworking individual, and if you get the opportunity to speak to her, she will enlighten you. She has a very spunky attitude. Present to you, Ms. Crystal Smith.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and City staff. I just want to thank you all for the opportunity. I'm really nervous, but super excited to see what the city has to offer and what I can bring to the table. So if you see me, I'll for sure say hey. Thanks.
Up next, we have Mr. Lou Yang. Lou is also a city resident. He volunteers a lot of his time with his local church. With his church, he works with the youth. So here at the city, he's also working with our teen center. But we're also going to have him working with our seniors, so he's going to get a little bit of both worlds. Lou's also a hardworking individual. He's an enthusiast of vehicles as well. So I present to you Mr. Lou Yang.
Thank you, Arsenio. Honorable Mayor, thank you. City Council members, thank you. Dignitaries and city staff, thank you all for having me or accepting me as a worker here. I'd just like to thank you all and come talk to me. I'm not shy. I was going to tell a joke, but I got nervous. Thank you.
And now we have our Public Works Director, Daryl Hartwell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Honorable Council. It was hard to get these two individuals here. They're very shy. They didn't really want to come, but they're here, and one of them didn't come. So if we can get his picture on the screen. So this is Alejandro Macias. He comes to us. He's a temporary worker, has done an excellent job. He's recently been assigned to the task of handling the cleanliness of the parks. He was a Perris Unified School District campus supervisor, and he holds a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from Cal State San Bernardino. We commonly call him Alex, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, city members, city staff. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I was born in Riverside, but I lived most of my life here in Perris, so it's really nice to, get a chance and get out there and try to make a difference. It starts when you're young. You see these people outside cutting the grass, doing certain things, and it's just nice to try to make a difference. And thank you for the opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it, and I won't let you guys down, and I appreciate you guys for all the hard work you guys do. So I'm gonna give something back like that also. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So that's the introduction of Mr. Macias. Next we have Mr. Fortino Guzman, and he's even more shyer, but we'll see if we can get him up here. Mr. Guzman is also coming as a temporary worker who's moving into a full-time position. It's interesting, he's a farmer by trade, and so he and his family grow vegetables and fruits on a farm. He loves the outdoors. He spends time outdoors working his farm still to this day. Sometimes I ask him what he does. He goes home after work and farms his land. And so he's a great asset to our Public Works Department. We look forward to seeing him grow. He has some opportunities to further his education, which he'd like to do. And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Fortino Guzman. I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself.
My name is Fortino Guzman. I come from Winchester, California. I'm very shy, sorry. I'm nervous. Sorry for saying hello. Good evening. And, I'm grateful. Daryl gave me the opportunity to work for the city. And, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, that concludes our official city employees. However, our extended city family, our Tri-Lakes Engineers wants to choose one of their new employees. So here to do that is Stuart McKibben, our city engineer.
Honorable Mayor, council members, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Cassandra Sanchez. She's been with us over at Tri-Lake for about 3 months now, but she's no stranger to me. I've worked with her for about a dozen years at Flood Control when I was there, managed her both the time. I interviewed her when she first joined us at Flood Control as an easy selection, super articulate, super intelligent, easy pick. And I managed her a lot during her time at Flood Control, so she's really good at construction, great engineer, really excellent at building teams. That's the best thing about her is she takes a group and really makes them high performers. I wish I could take credit for bringing her here to the city of Perris, but Habib Matlag noticed her a while back, and finally the time was right for her to take this opportunity and join us here. And so without any further introduction, Cassandra Sanchez.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff. I really look forward to the opportunity to be working with all of you. I'm really excited to bring what I learned from Stuart and to work with him again and to just help out any way I can. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, I realized Daryl mentioned one of the Public Works employees is unable to make it tonight. Can we go back one slide, Everett? We do have his bio, though. Randy Collins had actually a family emergency, so he couldn't make it tonight. But he comes from us from the city of San Bernardino and is already doing public works and maintenance over there. So it was a lateral for him, but he lives in Murrieta, so he was very excited about the opportunity to be closer. And we gained the experience of him already working for another agency. So you should see Randy in the future, and he's joined with the other two as the three members of our public works maintenance crew. And then I also want to point out, although it's not a full-time position yet, we have promoted our former HR manager, Saida Amosca, to interim director of administrative services. So she's sitting at the dais this evening, and so we want to welcome Saida. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, great. We're going to come down and take a picture with all our new folks. Stand up when I'm talking to you.
Congratulations, you did great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard.
Okay, here we go. On three. 1, 2, and 3. All right, thank you, everyone.
get it? Come on, yeah, don't be bashful. I'm not gonna bite. Hang on, hang on. Oh, one more.
Okay, 3, 2, and 1.
Countdown. Let's take my job.
Are they selling them as a building? They're just building like 34, so they're just going to sell them like that.
They spaced it out. Good. Well, they all left. I thought we were going to make comments.
Yeah.
That's okay. For those who are still around, congratulations again and welcome to the city. Even though you've been here for a while, but welcome to permanency now. Okay, item 7 is our approval of minutes. If nobody has any comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Mayor Pro Tem Magana. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 8 is our consent calendar. I believe we have some corrections or items to be monitored, modified.
Mr. Mayor, just on one of them, on 8B, the tract map, it says final tract map 36988, and it should be 988-1. It's
Okay.
the same, it's the same number of units, it just excludes a tiny little piece that I believe is not a part, it's owned by Eastern Municipal.
Right, and eventually they'll move the facilities somewhere else, and then they'll subdivide that parcel.
Okay, very good. That's been fixed. Anybody else have anything to pull? Okay, I'll entertain a motion with that amendment. I already have it. Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Call the vote, please.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 9 is our public hearings. And we will have comments, and we will be limiting them to public comments of 3 minutes. Item 9A is a consideration to adopt resolution number next in order, providing annexation of PM 36770, Perris Circle to the city maintenance districts. This is going to be introduced by our city engineer, Mr. McKibben.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to introduce Daniel Louie, who will handle the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. PM 36770 is Perris Circle industrial project at the southwest corner of Harley Knox and Redlands Avenue. As a condition of approval, the project is required to annex into the city's 3 maintenance districts to pay for benefits and annual costs associated with this property once it's developed. The proposed maximum annual assessment for the project is $27,494.44. On July 30th, Council approved resolution initiating the annexations of this project and set the public hearing for tonight. At this time, staff is asking for the mayor to open and close the public hearings. Following the hearing, the city clerk may open the ballots. If there are no majority protests, then the city council can consider the approval of the resolutions confirming these annexations. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Louie. Before I open up public comments, any questions for clarification, council? Okay, we will open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Is there anybody at this time in the audience wishing to speak on this particular matter? Hearing or seeing none, we will close public comment. Close the public hearing, rather. And now I'll call for the city clerk to open up the ballots.
City of Perris, annexation of PM 36770, Maintenance District Number 84-1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Perris, annexation of PM 36770 to Benefit Zone 149, Landscape Maintenance, District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Perris, annexation of PM 36770 to Benefit Zone 114, Flood Control, Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes.
Very good, thank you. Okay, if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to pass all three resolutions. A motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Corona. Please call the vote.
Five-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item B is consideration to adopt resolution number next in order approving annexation of conditional use permit 98-005 Silver Creek Industries to the City Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. And this will be by Mr. Daniel Louis again.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. CUP 98-0005 is Silver Creek Industries on Morgan Street next to Redlands Avenue. The property is being annexed into Landscape Maintenance District Number 1 to pay for maintenance of future improvements to be installed. The proposed maximum annual assessment for the project is $33,147.36. On July 30th, the council approved resolutions initiating the annexation, and tonight is the public hearing and election. If there are no majority protests, the city council can consider the approval of the resolutions confirming the annexation.
And Mr. Mayor, would note that the agenda item lists a conditional use permit CUP 9805, as Mr. Louis stated. The title of the resolution, it was incorrect on the agenda, but you've had a corrected resolution presented for you. And the only difference is just the location of it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any comments for clarification, Council? Before I open up public hearing? Seeing none in the queue, we're going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Very good. Anybody at this time wishing to speak? Hearing or seeing none, we will close public hearing, and I'll call the city clerk to open the ballots.
City of Perris, annexation of CUP 98-0005 to Benefit Zone 140, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes.
Very good, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll call for a motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Councilman Rabb. Please call the vote.
Five-0, motion approved.
C is to consideration to adopt resolution numbers next in order approving annexation of PM 36770 Perris Circle to the Communities Facility District Number 218-02. And this will be introduced by Daniel Louis again.
Good evening. I'd like to actually introduce both 9C and 9D since they pertain to both projects, and we can take them in order after that.
Excellent.
The project is Perris Circle again. This is to annex that project into the CFD 2018-2 Public Services Trail CFD, and 9D would be to annex it into the CFD 2001-3 Public Safety CFD. At the meeting on July 30th, Council adopted resolutions declaring the intention to annex the district and set the public hearing for tonight. Therefore, we request that the city opens a public hearing. If there are no protests, adopt a resolution calling for a special election. And since the property owner has waived the waiting period, we may conduct the election tonight. Finally, once the election is conducted, you may adopt a resolution declaring the results of the election, ordering a special tax lien placed on the property. Thank you.
Okay, any comments for clarification? Okay, we're going to open up public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Is there anybody at this time wishing to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close public hearing, and I'll call for a motion on the first resolution calling the election. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Magana, second by Councilman Rab. Please call the vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. I will now call for a motion on the second resolution declaring the results of the election. You got to open up the ballots first. Jump the gun.
Community Facilities District Number 2018-02, Public Services District of the City of Perris, Annexation Number 1, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes. Community Facilities District Number 2001-3, North Perris Public Safety of the City of Perris, Annexation Number 36, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Elections. The ballot is marked yes.
I'm sorry, the second ballot was for the item 9D?
9D.
Okay.
Okay, we're done? Okay. So now I'll call for the motion on the second resolution declaring the results of the election. And we have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Call the vote. Now, this is on both.
It's on C.
This is just on C. Okay.
It's the same developer, but two
Different parts.
Gotcha.
By vote, motion approved.
Okay, now I can skip D, or we have to do it?
No.
Okay, so D is in consideration to adopt resolution numbers next in order approving the annexation of PM 36770 in the Perris Circle to accommodate the Community Facilities District Number 2001-3 North Perris Public Safety District.
And she already opened the ballot.
And she already opened the ballot. And
You still have to
Open a
adopt
public
the
hearing
first
for-
resolution, then open the public hearing.
Right.
Same thing.
so at this time, I got to open a public hearing first. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Is there anybody at this time wishing to speak on item D? Hearing none and seeing none, we will close public hearing. And now I'll call for a motion on the second resolution.
The first one.
On the first, call for a motion on the first resolution calling the election. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Mayor Pro Tem Magana. Call the vote, please.
Five oh, motion approved.
Very good. And now we're going to call for a motion on the second resolution.
And the clerk could announce the results of the ballot. All the suspense has been gone.
That's okay. No, we don't. Do you have to read it again?
I would, just so that your minutes are correct.
Community Facilities District Number 2001-3, North Perris Public Safety of the City of Perris, Annexation Number 36, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Elections. The ballot is marked yes.
Very good. And now we'll call for a motion on the second resolution declaring the results of the election. And I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Mayor Pro Tem Magana. Call the vote, please.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Item E is consideration to adopt resolution number next in order approving the city's community development block grant, CDBG 2018-2019, fifth program year consolidation annual performance and evaluation report. And this will be introduced by Assistant City Manager Clara Miramontes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'd like to introduce Ms. Sarah Cortez de Pavon, Grants Manager, who will be presenting this item tonight.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and city staff. The item before you pertains to the CDBG adoption of the CAPER, which is the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report for last fiscal year. Annually, we receive CDBG funding from HUD. Last fiscal year, the city did receive $956,438 to meet community development and housing goals, which were outlined in our 5-year consolidated plan. A CAPER report is due 90 days after the end of the fiscal year, which this year puts it at this Friday, the September 27th. Some of the accomplishments include P-Town Boxing, which served 31 kids ages 6 through 18 with free boxing lessons. Perris Employment Program, which employed 12 youths ages 16 through 21 in various city departments, and 2 were actually employed with Laguerre Coffee Roasters. Fair Housing Council of Riverside County provided 1,144 Perris residents with fair housing services, and this include tenant-landlord mediation as well as anti-discrimination. Lifelifters provided employment education program to 35 teens with soft skills training. 211 Community Connect provided 294 residents with information and referrals to social service agencies. The Family Service Association provided 109 senior citizens aged 62 and over with nutritious meals at the senior center. Enhance the Gift Ministries provided 15 youths with dance, visual arts, and vocal music classes. And we did have one non-public service accomplishment, which was the sidewalk and pedestrian installation project. You see there a before and after picture. In total, 1,648 low to moderate income Perris residents were served through our public service projects. 88,440 Perris residents were served through the non-public service project. And in total for last fiscal year, the city did spend $949,737.50. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the resolution approving the fiscal year 18-19 CAPER and direct staff to submit the CAPER report to HUD no later than this Friday, September 27th. This concludes staff presentation. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Sarah. Council, any comments for clarification before I open up public hearing? Seeing none in the queue, we'll open up public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody at this time wish to speak on this item? Hearing none, we'll close public comment, and I'll call for a motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Magana, second by Councilman Rab. Please call the vote, please.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item F is consideration to adopt a first reading of ordinance number next in order and adopt resolution number next in order establishing a public art fee applicable to new industrial development in the city of Perris. This will be introduced by Director of Community Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. Again, my name is Sabrina Chavez, Director of Community Services, and I'm here to present the city's efforts in a public art initiative supported by a proposed public art fee imposed on industrial developments. So the City of Perris Public Art Initiative is to establish public art projects throughout the city and provide art enrichment-related activities for the community. The proposed initiative will establish ongoing efforts to preserve the city's identity and culture, inspire youth to develop their passion in the arts, work with professional artists, and create resource opportunities to implement the objectives. Previously, staff has introduced the launching of this initiative, working alongside professional artist Juan Solis with a mural project for the city, as well as implementing youth art classes next summer. The proposed public art fee will help fund youth-oriented public art events, live theater, music and dance festivals, museum activities, music and arts education, memorials and murals, and facilities that support the creation, performance, and exhibition of art. So staff has had previous discussions with the Parks and Recreation Committee regarding details of other public art policies from cities such as Rancho Cucamonga and Santa Fe Springs. Attached to the council submittal was an analysis that summarized each city public art policy. And based on this analysis, it was concurrent that the cities surveyed other cities to determine their public art fee, and that the public art fee was based on the building permit valuation. So presented before you, this table is a sampling of industrial projects that were issued permits by our city's building department in 2017 and 2018. The industrial projects range in size for the sampling, 396,000 to 1 million square feet building size. The total building permit valuation is based on the total construction value and the occupancy type of the building. So if you see here, the total building permit valuation is higher for a 912 square foot building than that of a 1 million. And that's due because of the occupancy type. The 912,000 square foot building is a factory and therefore has a higher flammable content. So the total building permit, total proposed public art fee based on the sampling of these industrial projects is shown here in increments of 0.25%. The total down below is what the city would have received had this public art fee been imposed at the time of the issuance of these building permits for these projects. So the Parks and Recreation Committee did direct staff to proceed with the recommendation of 1%. The timeline for the public art fee, the project, because it includes an ordinance, was duly noticed for a public hearing twice. Today, we're introducing the first reading of the ordinance and public hearing. And the ordinance would become effective 30 days following the adoption of the second reading of the ordinance. And in conclusion, at this time, staff recommends that the City Council introduce the first reading of ordinance number next in order and adopt a resolution with the number next in order establishing a public art fee that is applicable to new industrial development in the City of Perris. This concludes my presentation. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, before we open up public hearing, is there any comments from council for clarification? Seeing none in the queue, I do have one. Councilwoman Rogers?
Yes, Mayor. As a member of the Park and Recreation Committee, we studied this at length, and we feel the nominal 1% fee will enable the city of Perris to restore arts and culture through all age groups and enable the city to do a number of different events with maybe our youth and our seniors involved in restoring arts and culture in a grand way to the city of Perris. To our industrial big box users, the fee of 1% is a mere drop in the bucket to help us with that conception.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to open up public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Is there anybody wishing to speak on this particular item? Hearing or seeing none, we'll close public comment. And now I'll call on any more final questions from council.
I just one more point for clarification. So this is only for new and coming industrial projects?
That is correct.
Okay. And why did we decide against the residential builders or commercials? Was there a particular reason for that?
I'm not sure if you okay. We did discuss that, and I think we both agreed that we were adamant of not in any way trying to. I want to use the right words. Not to dissuade any type of residential, which is in desperate need in all of California, and also for commercial. I mean, you know. Because residential and commercial, they're much smaller profit margins. So whereas a large warehouse developer, you know, as Councilwoman Rogers stated, at 1%, it won't affect them as much.
Okay.
And I do believe that we can always revisit it if we do have a I guess if our industrial, you know, if they use that as an excuse that they never want to build, then we could always revisit this later on.
That's correct.
Okay, but I know that upcoming we do have some projects like the Veterans Memorial Project that's, you know, 600,000 plus. So one large development would actually help pay for that, where you know, and at the same time mitigate the impact that they cause. So that's how we see it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very important because we all know we're in a housing shortage, and we desperately need new construction for residential development. So we didn't want to impose a fee on our residential developers because we want to make sure that they keep coming to Perris, so we meet our RENA allocations that's necessary through SCAG. And we have been diligently attending all of the ICSCs, bringing new commercial retailers to the city. So we didn't, as the temp program, we're not putting additional fees on those commercial and residential, but we feel the industrial market gives us an opening to do that.
Okay, see nobody else in the queue. I will call for a motion on the first reading of this ordinance and resolution. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Corona. Please call the vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is business items. We have no business items this evening. Item 11 is public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody at this time wishing to speak on any matter in the audience? Okay, move on. Item 12 is council communication. Councilman Rabb?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A resident expressed a few concerns to me regarding the traffic around Perris Elementary and Park Avenue Elementary Schools, particularly when you go down Park Avenue. He indicated that there's no, people are speeding down Park Avenue, and there's a three-way interchange or intersection at Park Avenue and 7th Street, along with the other intersection at A Street and 7th Street, and then the two signalized intersections. If we can look into the traffic around that block and see if there's any way we can maybe work to reduce traffic in that area. On last Sunday, I had the opportunity, along with Mayor Vargas and Councilman Corona, to attend the Perris Valley Historical Museum's auction at the Hook House. The Hook House is that two-story blue house on 7th Street around 7th and C. The Perris Valley Historical Society received the house from the Hook family, and they've refurbished the inside of the house. So it was a pleasure seeing the inside of the house. Walked by it many, many years in elementary school, ran by it as I got older, and it was nice to see that they're working to restore one of Perris's treasure. Earlier that Sunday, I had the opportunity to attend First Baptist Church of Perris in honor of their 95th church anniversary. The church was founded in 1924. They've been at their present site since about 2003, and they were in their previous site from 1947 to 2003, and presented a certificate on behalf of the city. So the church members are very appreciative of the certificate and very appreciative of partnering with the city, particularly Pastor Wells and Sister Shadell Wells. And that basically concludes my public comments for today.
Thank you. Councilman Rab? Excuse me, Councilman Corona?
Okay. It has been a very busy few weeks. I want to thank the staff for doing the movie in the park, in Mercado Park, and also the city hike, which followed the next day. It was a very challenging hike, pretty hot, but a lot of residents still came out and just kind of all supported one another to try to get to the top again. I did also attend the event as Councilman Rabb stated. I want to give a special acknowledgement to Mr. John Mott and Ann Mott, because they really put a lot of their resources into the house over there, and just a great restoration they did. I also did get to attend the Perris free for the Perris residents to go to the train museum. It was just a well-attended event. It was just a great day. I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that it was actually my first day on one of those trains. So I did get the ride. I saw a lot of happy kids. I took my son with me, and just an overall great event. And last thing, I did attend last week. We went, myself and staff members, we went to the International Council of Shopping Centers in Los Angeles. So it's just a place where all the grocery store outlets and developers, they all kind of come together. It was just a really, really, really great event for the city of Perris. A lot of interest into the city of Perris with Burlington coming, with Burlington here and Ross ready to open. So a lot of people are really attracted to the city of Perris. We did put a lot of emphasis on hopefully getting a grocery store in the north of Perris, and at the same time building bringing some development. Some people who weren't interested are now interested. I won't go into detail, but just please cross your fingers for the city of Perris. It was just a great event, and I definitely want to thank the staff for doing a great job. Thank you.
That's it?
That's it. That's all.
Councilwoman Rogers?
I'll let-
30 minutes.
Last week, I did get to attend the Chamber Mixer at the Southern California Fairgrounds. It was we had quite a lovely narrative about every day at the fair. So please mark your calendars. Opening day is October 5th. That is Perris residents get in free with proof of residency. And on Friday, I got to attend with Mayor Vargas the Senior Appreciation Luncheon. And with every event, the seniors come out completely to support the event. We probably had close to about 200 seniors there that day for a wonderful luncheon, and of course, dancing. The mayor and I were challenged to join the senior Zumba class, and I'm going to start next week. I think the mayor is still debating. So we will support our seniors and have some fun, and it's wonderful to have seniors that are so proactive here in the city and attend all of the events, and they're looking forward to their remodeling of the senior center and hope to be in there sometime in the month of October. And then on Sunday, while everybody else was at the Hook House, I attended Reflections Church dinner and fundraising concert for Pastor Don Menberg, and he had one of those great 60s rock and roll bands, so I did my part and remembered those great songs and even got on the dance floor for a little bit. So it was a great weekend. And don't forget the fair. Make sure you attend and support it. That's it.
Thank you. That was 202 seniors, including you and I. So my lineup was first the Perris Working Scholars. We had our third sign-up event, another packed house. I mean, they were standing in the hallway. So,
Forgot her.
pardon me? Oh, my gosh. I'm just jumping right over here. I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And then I promise you'll go next. So I had the opportunity to attend the Perris Got Talent. It was a lot of fun. So thank you to our city staff who hosted that event. And Jordan brought a lot of energy, which was a lot of fun and great to see. The semifinals are coming up on October 5th, so I invite you and your families to join that. It's a lot of fun. Secondly, I attended the Take a Hike event as well. Extremely hot, but I plan to attend the next one, and I hope to see you all there as well. I had the opportunity to visit the Love for Life meeting held at Rancho Verde High School, which was really great to see students involved in that and become committed. First week of October is actually dedicated to Mental Illness Awareness Week, so I invite you all to fight the stigma and learn a little bit more about how to advocate. And then the Southern California Association of Governments will be providing an update on the Regional Housing Needs Assessment allocation methodology via webinar. For more details, you can visit the SCAG website to follow up with that. And that concludes my council communications. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, and moving on. It was already mentioned about the movies in the park. That was our last one at the Mercado Park. It was very extremely well attended. It was probably our best one for the end of the year. The splash park was open. There was good entertainment, a lot of things for the kids to do. So I just want to thank staff for the summer contributions to our movies in the park, as well as our YAC kids. They were always out there helping out too. Love for Life 5K, their first 5K walkathon fundraiser was held at the lake at the same time as we were doing the hike. So Councilman Corona and Rab took the easy hike, and I did the 5K walk. It was hard because I was fully dressed for regular clothes with dress shoes, not thinking I was going to do the walk, and I wound up doing the walk. So, Perris Valley Filipino American Mental Health Awareness Forum. They held both Councilman Rab and Corona joined me on that one as well, the same day of my long duration walk. So while Councilman Corona supported us all in LA for the ICSC, I went up to Sacramento along with mayors from Fresno, Dinuba, and members from Ontario staff to meet with Lenny Mendonca. He's from the Governor's Office, Business and Economic Development. This was in reference to Senate Bill 531. In a nutshell, it's current legislation that's affecting economic development opportunities within our region, and we're trying to reach out to our governor to help veto this bill because it will put a hamper in our future economic development opportunities. We will be following up with a coalition letter from the different cities that were involved, and hopefully attain some more cities as well to join the wagon there. The inaugural pre-SoCal Fair mixer was really nice. Good turnout, too. It's probably one of our best mixers that I've seen so far in attendance. I was fortunate able to make it to the Menifee State of the City Address. I volunteered at the annual Rotary Club of Perris golf tournament over at the Saboba Canyon Golf Club. That was pretty good as well. Funds that are generated from there go to a lot of their scholarships that goes out to our high school students. First, Malcolm, shame on you, Perris High School football and homecoming. We were both there.
Stop talking about the score.
It's a tough game, but they had a really good turnout for the homecoming. That's all we're going to say. So the big highlight for my whole month is the American Red Cross event that they held this past Saturday in honor of the Lomeli family. They have a smoke alarm save lives campaign. They concentrate in the area of Triple Crown Elementary. I was there just for the kickoff. Our Assistant Chief, Lieutenant Portillo was there, and he actually helped out and was one of the team members. So what this did was they had 37 teams, 150, these are rough numbers, 150 residents were contacted, 155 alarms were actually installed, and 37 households were made safer that day. It was an honor to be there for their little kickoff. As a former, police officer and people in that type of law enforcement and fire, there's a cliche, you can save one life a year, that's a biggie. This American Red Cross and Lieutenant, do you remember when they started this program? It was only like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. They have data that says that they have raw data that shows 600 lives have been saved since they started installing these fire alarms. That's big. So that being said, I have the names and contacts. I'm going to be following up with them along with someone from staff, whether it's the city manager or city staff. I want to keep this going in our city, in our older areas that do not have smoke alarms already in their homes. We'll continue this campaign as long as they have the equipment to keep on passing out so we can hit all our homes that may not have fire alarms. Perris Got Talent was good. I think we both took turns. I was a judge, though. That was pretty tough when you have to be the judge, but it was a lot of fun. And the SoCal Railway Perris Appreciation Day was well attended. They moved it up a couple of months now to later, so it wasn't as hot, but it still was a little warm, but not as bad. And then the silent auction for the Perris Valley Historical Museum that Councilman Rabb brought it up already at the Hook House on 7th Street. If I had the cash, I would love to have bought the house. Immaculate home. I couldn't appreciate, though, because I didn't know what it looked like before all the remodeling was done. But this team that was put together and managed and overseen by former Councilman Mott and his wife, that's a fabulous job that they did. And then, as Councilwoman Rogers mentioned, the Senior Acknowledgement Day, 80s was the theme, so they're just right up there with that disco music I was reminiscing in high school with our seniors. You gotta love our seniors. I keep telling everybody, if you have time to stop by and see these events, they fill these rooms, just like Councilwoman Rogers said. They have a blast, and once the music gets turned on, I call them kids, they just don't stop dancing, and it's dangerous because my knees buckle up, but anyway. All right, that's enough said. Item 13, City Manager's Report.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just a few upcoming item or events to announce. Tomorrow evening will be the Chef in the Garden, which will take place at 6 p.m. in our garden, the Perris Green City Garden on the campus. On October 2nd, we'll participate with some of the schools in the International Walk to School Day. The public health and community services staff will have booths and be at Enchanted Hills Elementary as well as Skyview Elementary Store. School, not store. We invite you to attend. And I think that Mayor Pro Tem already announced the Perris Got Talents. The semifinals are October 5th. That very same day, we're also having our fall cleanup. So we will be having bins for Perris residents to take their items to at OERM Museum. So that's free for Perris residents, as well as up to 9 e-waste items. And that'll be at OERM. Here on the City Hall campus, we will have the Shredathon here. And that's also free for Perris residents. So we invite you to bring your items on that day. And that concludes my city manager report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, item 14 is our adjournment. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. For all our viewers at home, good night and good evening. And